How you doing?
Yeah, good. Just actually rolled into the office to it's a little easier here than home with the kid. I guess one kid, but kid, puppy, and wife makes it hard.
Yeah, I saw you got a new puppy. How's that going?
It's good. It's work.
Yeah,
We romanticized the puppy life, but yeah, it's a lot more work than I remember, but it's rad. The kids love it. It's a good dog. It's been
yeah.
fun.
What kind of dog is it?
He's half beagle, half boxer,
Oh, wow.
which is an interesting combo. But yeah, he's rad. He's super good with the kids, and yeah, it's sorry, hold on, let me finish this out. I got my tax lady hit me up and said you still got to pay your estimated taxes due tomorrow. So I'm trying to. Oh,
I just got a notification on my computer. I had to shut off that the tax guy was getting hold of me too.
yeah. What's
So
up, Ruben? Yeah, so I checked out who's the one guy that's like the I think you did an interview with him recently, and he does not Kwaji Kempo. He does what's the Israeli thing? I can't think of the name.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. Yeah,
Yeah, Chris Newton.
that guy like rad. Where's he out of?
He's in Orange County. He splits his time between Vegas and Orange County. That's who invited me. I just got back from Vegas. That's why I'm busted up on my face and my knuckles. Um, it's funny. I'll give you a quick intro to that guy. I met him at Equinox out in Huntington Beach. You know, when you join a gym and they're like, well, what are your interests? Hold on real quick. My 7-year-old's little Cabo girlfriend keeps FaceTiming and want to play Roblox. Anyway, we were at Equinox and they said, oh, you have any hobbies? And my wife said, yeah, he likes MMA. So they give me a trainer and I'm like, oh, great, an Equinox MMA guy. This is going to be fun. And it was Chris, that guy. And he says, well, I don't think you need to learn anything about weights, but you said you like MMA. Tell me about that. And I told him my background on MMA, and he's like, well, do you want to just spar? I said, hell yeah. So we were at Equinox in Huntington Beach, you know, all the fancy little places, and we would go in the yoga studio and we would just spar for an hour. So he eventually stopped doing that, and he had a Krav studio up in like a 405 in Magnolia, and he had the keys and said, hey, we can keep training here if you want. And so I knew he started doing Krav. I knew he was at the time he was a brown belt in Krav. But I started getting into the gun, gun defense, knife defense, and I've always been in MMA for about 20 years. I've been doing jiu-jitsu, boxing, some kind of MMA forever. But I liked the gun scenarios. I liked live scenarios. I'm 46, so there's no more walking into a bar and bar fights and thinking you're a tough guy. I like thinking if I'm at an ATM and my family, my wife and kid are behind me, and a homeless guy or anybody comes up to me and mugs me, what do I do? And so we started doing scenarios like that. I actually joined the Krav studio that he was a part of. And then I moved to San Clemente. So I moved to San Clemente, and there's a Krav studio out in San Juan. And I went there and I said, well, when's your guys' fight night? Because I like to spar and mix it up. He says, oh, we don't do we can't spar out here. I said, why not? He says, well, Krav is too dangerous. You can't spar with Krav because we would kill each other. I said, oh, I don't think that's accurate. So, but I appreciate your time. And I moved on and I went to Adam Watts, Fight Strong. So yeah. I went there. I walked in the daytime, and the boxing coach, Dan, I think his name is. I snuck around the back. What's that?
Old Italian dude.
Yeah. So I walk in the back, and he's just sitting there with his glasses down, looks at me and like, what do you want? And I'm like, hey, I'm just looking for a gym to mix it up. He says, you have any skill? You have, him. He's like just like straightforward old guy. And I said, yeah, I can mix it up a little bit. Yeah. So I came in there. He's like, you get a week from me. You tell him I'm here. You're under me, and just come and see if you liked it. I freaking loved it. We got in, I think, sparring the first day. There's a couple of big killers there during the boxing one. And that's how I found Adam and those guys. And I loved it. And my 7-year-old son, my 7-year-old son trains there too. So,
cool.
Yeah. So that's that guy. He's a black belt in Krav Maga, Aikido, and literally he's my mentor in fighting. He knows, like, he's an encyclopedia of fighting. Every kind of fighting you want to know about, he knows. But he also does gun tactics, knife fights. I mean, that's like I got this from him. we were in a shoot house over the weekend, and he had a whole fight bodysuit on, kind of like when you were getting attacked by a dog, and he had a big old helmet. And he says, "All right, go in that room, close your eyes, act like you're sleeping." And so I'm sitting there just chilling, and he full on mounted me, and then he started attacking me. So I'll send you the video later. I walked up the wall, got on top of him, mounted him, and I just went full on because he told us to. He says, "Go crazy on me. I can take it. You guys need to figure out if you have it or if you don't." And I've always been a nice guy, and my old trainers used to tell me, "Hey, you gotta imagine yourself. If they get past you, they're gonna kill your wife. They're gonna hurt your kid." And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, that's violent. Why are you talking about that? I'm such a nice guy." And they're like, "You got to get to that dark place because these people are gonna have it. They're gonna fucking do some harm." So last Saturday or Sunday or whatever it was, I went nuts and I was headbutting the helmet. I was hitting him. My knuckles are all jacked up, and there was a big like a sofa chair, and I picked that up and I was getting ready to drop it on his head. And the instructor behind me was like, all right, Josh, you're done. Okay. So then I had to grab a weapon and I had to clear the house. And so, I mean, I just love that shit. But that dude, Chris, is one of the baddest dudes I know. So yeah, he's legit. So I had him on my podcast, and he's just, I think we only talked for an hour, but we could talk 6 hours of all the knowledge he has about fighting. And, he's my mentor about everything I do.
How old is he?
He's my age. He's like 45, 46.
Okay. So he's, yeah. Wow. Badass.
Yeah. So he's been fighting.
Good guy to have on your side.
Yeah, he's been fighting. He used to be, he's from Miami. So he used to do Muay Thai and stuff out there. And then he just got into gun stuff. And I took an AR and a pistol out to Vegas at the pro gun shop. And I'm pretty good at fighting. I'm pretty confident, but my gun skills are, not there at all. So we really worked on, getting attacked, like in the street. Like if we had a CCW, if you could carry out here, you got attacked, you're not just going to draw right away if this guy doesn't have a weapon. Yeah. So it was kind of preparing us to think, okay, if this guy has a knife, you pull your gun. If this guy has a gun, obviously pull your gun. But, try to balance the having a weapon and not being stupid and getting in trouble with it. Yeah. So I did that tactical training. I could talk. I'm sorry. I could talk about it all day, but yeah, that's who.
That sounds rad.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested, I can hook you guys up. I mean, he comes out here. I live in San Clemente, and he comes out here, and my wife and her sister really want to train. So he's going to come to my house next week, and he's going to run through, like, if somebody we're coming up my stairs, what do I do? Because my son is, you don't want to shoot where your son is or wherever people are sleeping. You got to think about where, like, if guys coming upstairs, obviously I'm going to have, I'll say the safe word. My wife and son will go somewhere, or hopefully be somewhere safe, and then I can act. So he's going to come here, assess the situation, assess my house, and then we're going to get a game plan together. So right. I always tell people when fighting and everything, and I heard the big Lucky, he told some kids at Fight Strong, get hit in the face when you're in a comfortable environment, get attacked in a comfortable environment, find out how you're going to react instead of being attacked on the street and realize you don't like to get hit. Well, that's a bad time to find out you don't like to get hit, and you might just curl up and be like, "Oh no, I don't want to deal with this." But that guy's not going to stop. He's going to keep pounding you. So totally. I try to get uncomfortable situations. I try to put myself in as many situations as I can to make 99% of the time, probably nothing's ever going to happen. I'm not going to have a home invasion. I'm not going to get mugged, but I'd rather know it and never have to use it than need it and be like, shit, what do I do? And, falter around. So
it's the same with water safety.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the same. I took I don't know if you're familiar with water groms. They're out here in Orange County. We went to Irvine. A friend of a friend was doing it, and so I took my 7-year-old son. And I've never done anything like that. I've surfed for a lot of years, and then I've taken some beatings and stuff, but I've never trained my breath or trained any kind of underwater holding. And we went to this class, and I was blown away by it. And just always training yourself for something is kind of what I always aim for. Put myself in difficult positions.
Keep evolving, learning.
Yeah.
Well, what's I guess I don't know if we're already jumping into it, but let's jump into it because I've got, like I said, I've got to hit my tax lady at
Yeah.
10.
Don't
And
want to piss off
yeah,
your tax lady. Well, yeah, we just my two hobbies are surfing and fighting,
yep,
and I always somehow mix the two together. All my fighting friends want to learn how to surf. All my surfing friends want to know more about fighting. So I created a
yep,
podcast called The Savage Waterman, where I
sick.
basically just interview people, talk about stuff that I like. And so I know you're a pro surfer. You have a lot of knowledge in surfing and everything. And I kind of saw you around the fight school, so I thought maybe, man, this guy's the perfect waterman too. He shreds
Yeah,
at surfing and he has some interest in fighting. So let's get him on the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Cool, man. I appreciate it. Well, to be blunt, I wish I had more time. I got 3 kids. When Adam was, I think he was even just a blue belt. He had a place here in San Clemente. My now brother-in-law, they're they lost their dad to a drunk driving accident when he was pretty young, and I was dating his sister at the time, and him and Adam became really close, and through that obviously huge tragedy, he really got involved with jujitsu, and it was really like a form of medication for him, and kind of I think dealing with such a gnarly incident.
Yeah.
So he's Nicky boy. He works here in town at JD's.
Mm-hmm.
But he got into it when he was like 16, I think, when his dad passed away. And so I kind of met Adam through Nicky boy, and then was it San Clemente Dojo? I think the place Adam worked at the time was called San Clemente Dojo. So I started going then when I was like 20
Yeah.
with my, wasn't my brother-in-law at the time, but now brother-in-law. And yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I was going quite a bit. And being in San Clemente, there's a lot of Marines, which is cool. And Adam was out of town. I was rolling with another white belt, like this big Marine guy, and he wrenched my knee, and that was when my surf career was really taking off, and I was out of the water for a while.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have had bigger balls and stuck with it, because
Yeah.
now at 39, I'd be in a better place jiu-jitsu wise. But I just kind of stepped away and said, man, I can't, it's my livelihood, and I can't risk. And I was in the middle of competing, and things were going well. And so I kind of took a step back altogether. But I've always had a lot of interest. I have an uncle, it's a Navy SEAL. My grandpa was in the military. My dad wrestled in high school when he was a kid, and I've always just gravitated towards it. I guess I like the competition. I like the, I don't know, physical. Um, I like contact, and I think I just like learning how to protect yourself and learning in those situations. You were mentioning it, just
Yeah.
uncomfortable situations. I like trying to push myself and dealing, and surfing, especially in bigger ways, is kind of the same thing. It's just overcoming being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. I think sums it up the best.
Yeah. So how long were you out of the water when you had that knee injury?
It was like a good 3 months
Yeah.
plus,
Yeah.
and it bugged me for a while. I strained my MCL, so I didn't need like surgery or anything, but it was in like the fall, which is when it goes into like the tail end of the competitive season at surfing,
Yeah.
and it goes into Triple Crown. And that was like kind of the first year. I think I did the Triple Crown the year before, which is the 3 events over in Hawaii. And then that following year is when I hurt my knee and I was unable to go. And so I just kind of, it's like, you know what, I need to put my eggs in the surfing basket. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's my livelihood. Obviously enjoy it, but things were snowballing in a good direction with that. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to, I took a back seat on the jiu-jitsu thing. But in hindsight, I wish I would have kept at it.
Yeah, but that's the one thing I always judge my injuries on, because surfing's my number one priority.
Yeah.
And I just had shoulder surgery and it put me out of the water for 9 months. And I mean, if being out of the water for 9 months has killed me. It was like one of the hardest things emotionally and physically I ever had to do. The pain was
Yeah.
one thing, but being out of the water was driving me nuts. So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel you. So
Yeah. It
yeah,
was,
Go ahead.
It was, I really enjoy it though. It's funny. I've gone to a couple classes. My kids are now going to Adam Watts's place, which is Fight Strong, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And just watching them, I'm just I've got a lot going, and it's like even just getting in the waters, I don't have the time I once had.
Yeah.
So to add, my buddies have been rousing me because of my goal for 2021 was to get back into going consistently to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I think I've made it once. So they're like, dude, what's up with the how's 2021 goals going? I'm like, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, the year's not over though, so you can still get in there.
Yeah, I'm still, yeah, I need to make it happen. But I do still surfing as an ambassador for a couple brands, which is really rad. It's been a great pairing. And then I've sales for Lost Surfboards, Fuel Wetsuits, and Octopus, which is like an accessory traction brand.
Yeah.
So my territory is Southern California. And like I said, I got 3 kids. We got a puppy, wife, work, still able to surf.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. I've been doing a men's Bible study group in my house on Thursday night. My wife goes to a class. She has class she's involved in on Wednesday night. And it's just life's busy. So I got to cut something to find time to get in there, but I'll make it happen.
Well, not only on your Instagram are you shredding, I see the videos that you post on there, but one of the favorite things I like to see and is you guys have the family dance nights with you guys and your family are getting up there and dancing and rolling around and stuff.
Yeah, it's rad. It's we usually we last couple of Fridays, same deal. We've been busy, but Friday Dad gets home from work and we crank up the music and it's cool. It's rad. It's the first time we just videoed it because it was funny.
Yeah.
And then we kind of started doing it more and more. And I've had more, I mean, yeah, I surf pretty good. I don't dance good at all, but I've had more people comment about my dance moves than any surf video or just the whole family, like the fun.
Yeah.
It's rad. Letting them, I think, just kind of show them that it's fine to be dorky or just have fun and with their mom and dad and the kids and just, work's over, let's have some fun, good clean fun, dance around the living room, we'll have theme nights. Sometimes we put on like whatever, it could be rap music, could be jazz, it could be blues, it could be oriental music, could be Mexican music, and just have fun, listen to music and dance around the house. Yeah, it's cool. Oh, hold on one second.
Yeah.
I had to borrow my coworker's office because I'm kind of my little office space is just in the hallway. So hopefully he doesn't mind.
Well, yeah, let's jump into your surf career. So I think you won the QS for a while. Then in 2010 you won the Coldwater Classic, and that got you into the ASP back then, but WSL.
Yeah. It's like I was talking about the snowballing. I surfed. I did as an amateur. I did well. I wasn't like the standout or the kid that had all the hype on him, but I think my dad was he helped me a lot. He was a masonry contractor, so poured concrete and was always just had a really good work ethic, and I think he applied that or showed me that through all the hard work he kind of did in life to set me and my sister up, but rolled that into surfing and really at the time it's kind of like, remember Mick Fanning was kind of like, even when we were kids, there was like the jock world, which was like which was like football and weightlifting, and the surfing aspect that didn't really mesh well.
Yeah.
And but I remember Mick Fanning kind of, I think more publicly than other guys, kind of made a stand for, hey, there's nothing wrong with putting in hard work to give yourself the best opportunity to shine when the competition starts. And so I applied that and worked with a number of guys. But yeah, it was on the QS for, kind of started it a little later than most guys. I did the junior series up till 20, and then from 20 to like, I qualified at 28, so it was 8 years.
Yeah. So you're talking a little bit about what Mick Fanning said about putting the hard work into surfing and getting your career going.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so he was kind of, I guess, the most vocal guy about it at the time when it was that aspect was didn't, I think, tie well with surfing and kind of the gypsy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But the reality was for me, it was I had talent, but I was never, the most naturally gifted guy in the world on a surfboard. So it took that hard work to kind of elevate me. And there was a lot of, you could make a really good career if you got in the rhythm of competing well and winning events and endorsements. And
Yeah.
um, my dad, I was mentioning about the masonry, but I used to work pouring concrete and making and block walls and brick and all that as a kid during the summer. So I kind of knew what hard work was. And the surfing thing, yeah, it was hard in some aspects, but I freaking enjoyed it. And I love surfing, and to be able to make a career out of it was like a dream as a kid. So I guess it was cool. I wasn't afraid of putting in the hard work to give myself the best opportunity. Um, and it took me, I think you asked about qualifying. Yeah, it took me 8 years to finally crack into that top 10 and make it onto the next level of competing on the world championship tour.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs, and in hindsight, I think you forget a lot of the lows that was within those 8 years of competing, because it's a year-long tour. So I'd be traveling. I'd go to like, you know, I had 15 events in a year, each a week long. It was all over the globe. And I remember one year I went to Europe and I had 6 events. I lost first round in every event. So I was there for almost 2 months, and I just basically got last place in 6 events in a row. And so that was humbling. But
Yeah.
when I finally did qualify, it made the highs a lot higher. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really cool time in my life.
Now, this is before surf coaches and everything, right? So it's just you traveling along in Europe and stuff, or did you have a
Kind
surf
of.
coach?
Yeah, I didn't have surf coaches. I had like a really cool crew of guys, which was huge because it's an individual sport and you're traveling all over the place. You're a lot of long flights, and it's all good. But when you're through all the, I guess, that adversity, you still got to compete, and you're
Yeah.
competing against a hundred other guys that are all really good surfers. And then you
Yeah.
got the variable of the ocean, which will always throw you a curveball, so to say. So I traveled with the Gudauskas brothers and a guy, Austin Ware, who's from down in San Diego. And in the kind of latter years of doing the QS, we started coaching with Ian Carnes,
Hmm.
just when we were here home locally, who was really one of the godfathers of inventing world surfing
Yeah.
as a profession. So he knows the formula, he knew the scoring, the criteria, and he's just a badass dude.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's a big
that
dude too. I've seen him out in
he's a
Laguna a
big
couple
dude.
of
Yeah,
times.
he used to be a brawler. He's from Western Australia, but the cool part was I think a lot of Americans have it pretty easy and have a lot of opportunity and things to fall back on, and that's not the case a lot of parts in other parts of the world. So I mean, guys were fucking all in. This was their like one golden ticket, and I think the Americans and even myself lack that at times, that like that passion and that just desire to win no matter what. And
Yeah.
Ian Carnes was a huge um huge plus in my career to kind of bring that out of me. And that's really when I finally went from like the mid 50s on that WQS tour to like jumping into that top 10 and then ultimately qualifying onto the CT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's epic.
Yeah. You still talk to him?
I run into him from time to time. I reach out to him every once in a while, just a quick text.
Yeah.
I know he went through some pretty severe health stuff a couple
Yeah.
years back. But he's doing well now, and his wife surfs, and I think
Yeah.
he's really into the stand-up paddle world.
Yeah.
He helps out with that, so we kind of don't cross pollinate as much, just because they surf in different places or they're in rivers or lakes and stuff. But yeah, I give him a lot of credit to helping me finally obtain a goal of qualifying, which I put a lot of years into.
Yeah. So when you did finally qualify, what was the huge difference, or what was your biggest obstacle of, jumping on that tour, being a rookie? What was the big change in your life then?
I think just self-belief through and the confidence of um in the heat of the moment when the heat was winding down and there was a set coming and you had to, for myself, is not, I think at the times my brain got in the way and I'd overthink things, and just being
Yeah.
present and not allowing myself to, I guess, self-doubt to creep in. um but then going into your question, the year I qualified is the year they did that mid-year cut.
Oh yeah.
So it was fucking brutal. I only got, usually you would, as a rookie, you'd get an entire year, and it's a huge to adapt or to learn or to compete against the world's best.
Yeah.
I tell people, and you probably know this, but it's the difference between playing like the minor leagues to the major leagues.
Hmm.
There's a whole new, yeah, level of surfing going on, and it's a different form of competition because it's man on man heats. So I think personally it takes a year, just it takes a good couple events just to kind of
Getting the
get
rhythm of
used
it.
to, yeah, get used to that new stage. And the year I qualified, it was only, I only got 5 events and I just barely missed the cut to be in the second half of the year. But normal scenario, you get a whole year. Once you qualify, you get a whole year to
Yeah.
compete, and then you got to make the year end cut. So I only got 5 events, and I didn't make the cut, and that was my CT.
So that was it.
That
I
was
mean,
my CT career.
I remember listening to the interview where Bobby Martinez was like, "Fuck this! This is like a tennis. This is bullshit," and he totally went off on it. But so after that cut, you couldn't make it to the next year, or you had to go back to the QS and try to
Yeah, you had to go
requalify.
back to the QS. And I had like 2 years that I came really close, but I just barely missed requalifying. And so, yeah, ultimately, I did 5 events on the CT.
Was that the only
Um,
year they did that? After that year, did they
that
realize
was the
what?
only year they did that. Yeah.
Wow.
But the fucked part was, like I was mentioning about just let self doubt, is it was this really, like, at the time, it was like this condescending thing of like, hey, the tour's too big. We have too many people. We need to cut down the like riffraff or the guys that aren't able to be here. And I kind of, it was the whole media is everything is really trippy. Um, but I kind of let that, I was, once I got cut mid-year, I had like a really gnarly like hangover of like almost kind of lost my desire to even compete. Like, fuck, man, I worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
And then go figure, they're gonna cut 12 guys for the first time ever. After I finally qualify, there's this like massive variable that no one really even discussed, and then I make it, and then I get axed, and it took me a good year or two. It just put a really bitter taste in my mouth ultimately,
Yeah.
and I was kind of just, I took the, I took the kind of, this is fucked. Of course, this happened to me, and I think took that a little too to heart, and it just kind of put a major damper in competing there for a while.
Yeah. So did
But
you got back on the QS and try to hound out some more wins and try to get back on there?
yeah, I did. One year, I think I was like 2 or 3 spots out at the end of the year. Did a whole year of the QS, and I had at Sunset. I had the heat I actually lost in. I had to make that heat, and I would have qualified, and I lost. Um, and but in through that, the one year I made the Volcom Pipe Pro, I made the finals, which was huge. That was in 2012, I believe. And the waves were really good, and that was, Hawaii's always, as they say, the proving ground because it's freaking scary. First of all, the waves, the ocean's just a whole nother beast than what's here in California, at least in
Yeah.
San Clemente. And the whole surf media is, it's like the epicenter of surfing. And to make the final there, I actually beat Bruce Irons in the semi, like in the dying seconds. I got a wave underneath him. There wasn't priority then, but he was sitting further out, and a wave came in like that went under him, and I got
the left, and it was literally like in the dying seconds. They didn't announce the score until the heat was over. I think I needed like a low 5, and I got a high 5 and made the final. And that was the year that John and Jamie O'Brien like battled it out in the final, and John
Yeah.
beat Jamie at the end. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah.
But that was probably my biggest, just to be a kid from California to make a final in Hawaii at Pipeline, which is like the most iconic spot when the waves were good and with
Yeah.
the talent that was in the event. That was 2012. That end of that year is the year that I almost requalified and just came up short.
Was the Volcom Pro was the Volcom Pro a QS, or was that just a
It
one-off?
was a QS.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a QS. And then in 2015, I won that O'Neill Coldwater Classic. I won it in 2009, which is what got me on the tour the first time. And then they had a specialty event in 2015 that I won again, and it was a sponsorship with O'Neill. And so that was for the following year. And that year I came really close to qualifying again. But ultimately, I needed to be in the top 12. And I think that year I finished 16th. So
yeah,
it was bittersweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now looking back, it's all good. But it took a while to be in a place like this, you know, to look back and smile on it and not let it be like something you work so hard to come up to be so close to making it and having that happen, and a couple years of spending a whole year and just coming up, you know, fractions of point away ultimately from achieving what I was trying to get back onto was challenging, to say the least.
Yeah, it's kind of like every sport. Like I'm just a spectator. I watch the WSL events, and you always see like the Johns, the Italos, but you don't see the guys that are grinding it out, trying to claw their way in there. And I mean, it takes a lot. I commend you for doing that, because I'm sure it was a grind and hard mentally.
You know what though? To be honest, it's fucking. I think it's a bummer. I loved it. There was a lot of lows, but looking back and being able to travel the world, meet all these people, surf all over the place, I was getting paid to do it. I was able to, you know, I did well enough that I was able to buy a house, support my family, start a family. I mean, I wasn't at the top by any means, but I did quite well for myself.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it now is I'm able to look back and go, that was a really awesome time in my life.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. And I appreciate the things I learned from it, the experiences I got to do, and the places I got to go. I mean, I've been more places than my grandparents that are 90 years old, but at the time I was like 20.
You ever go back to any of those places and surf because you loved it so much?
I haven't. I was going to Hawaii, go to Hawaii with my kids, and now having kids is cool to just I was able to take them there. I was still competing a little bit going up to COVID just domestically, and I was taking my family and I would compete, and it was kind of like a 2-for-1 little vacation and surf the domestic events. And now I surf for Salty Crew, and they do trips that I'm able to be a part of, and it's just to go for the love and go surfing and enjoy the ocean, and just the therapy that provides, I think, for me and so many other people is I'm enjoying where I'm at in life, and it's cool. It's still, the love is still there. I still love to surf, and it's still something I need to do. And my wife's like, it's been a couple weeks. Like, damn man, you need to go surf. You're freaking edgy as hell. Get out of here. So it does a lot for me.
Yeah, I get it. My wife's the same way. She's like, why are you so antsy right now? She's like, when's the last time you surfed? I'm like, a couple weeks. She's like, just go jump in the water, do something, because you're driving me nuts.
Totally. Yeah, it's an amazing sport, and for me, it's, as I said, it's a therapeutic thing. It totally revitalizes me.
So how'd you get hooked up with Lost Surfboards? Because I've seen you, riding all the different boards. I actually reached out to you on Instagram and asked you about, I think it was one of the boards I asked you about, and you responded and let me know about it. But so you ride for them, and you're a sales rep for them?
Yeah, so it's I surfed their boards pretty much my whole career. Matt Biolis made my boards. I went with him to Indo when I was like early 20s. But I started riding for him in my late teens, riding his boards. And as the years marched on, I just kind of, I didn't want to be one of those guys that just kind of kept milking it. And there's a thriving industry within the surf world, and I like um, competing, and that rolls into sales nicely, and having goals and trying to attain them. But yeah, I talked to Matt and said, hey, if a position ever opens up, I would love to potentially work for you. I think sales I would enjoy that. And I was just kind of in his ear because I'm 39 now. So I've been there. This was when I was 34. I've been here almost 5 years now. Um, but yeah, I knew at some point I had 2 kids at that time, and the economy was in a weird place and wasn't making the money I once was making. So Matt called me up out of the blue. He's like, Viola style, I was like, fuck, my current rep's moving on. Do you want a job? I'm like, yeah, what's the deal? He's like, I need you by next week. Can you start on Monday? Like, and at the time, I mean, I still had sponsors. I wasn't doing well, but I was still getting paid to surf, and I was getting by. And I was my own boss, and ultimately that was my job. So it's pretty lavish and nice. Responsibilities are pretty bare minimum. Uh, so yeah, I talked to my wife and called him back and said, yeah, let's do it. And yeah, the rest is history. Since then, with them, now I've taken on other lines, and it's going well. And the COVID boom and everything is like, it's like nothing the surf industry's ever seen. So I've been blessed not only to roll into a sales job and something I love to do, but then also be doing something that's really successful and doing really well and ultimately thriving. That's not the case, as you know, for everyone. So yeah, it's been a great transition, and I have more surfboards than ever, and I get to go surf still, even though it's not my day in, day out job. But even just riding the boards and be able to give Matt feedback, and then when I go to the sales, the surf shops, I can tell them how I've written the board, how I've liked it, or get them on boards. And yeah, it's been really cool. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I think one of your critiques or reviews or somewhere was a sub driver 2.0.
Okay.
And so that's what
Yep.
I got. I got a 6.2 and a 6.0. And
Oh,
then
rad.
I got the Hydra because
Uh-huh.
we just went to Cabo for 3 months. So it was off
Rad.
season. So I knew I was going to need like a fishy board. So I
Yep.
got the Hydra, and I love that board. That thing's so fun.
It flies, huh?
Yeah, I got it as
That,
quad system, and it was flying around everywhere I go. I actually took it out in some meaty surf, and I still loved it. I thought, oh, it's kind of not perform very well, but I took out the shipwrecks, and that
okay.
thing was humming out there. I loved it. So
Rad. Yeah,
yeah,
that board's got speed just off the get go,
yeah,
and any board, if it's going fast, it's going to be fun.
yeah,
It's really just flat and wide. But that sub driver 2.0, I tell everyone, that's like, there's one board I had to pick for myself of Matt's whole lineup of boards. That board just, it works. It goes fast in little waves, still has hold when the waves are big. It's easy to ride, turns
yeah,
well, kind of does everything you'd want out of a surfboard.
yeah.
So you can't go wrong with that one. And yeah, like I said, ultimately, I mean, I'm rolling into surf shops, selling surf equipment to other people that surf, and I really enjoy it, first of all. And yeah, blessed to I guess God's been good and evolving where I'm at as a human to now provide for my family, and I'm home every night, and I get to sell surfboards and wetsuits and accessories and
Yeah,
make a livelihood out of it. It's awesome.
not a bad gig at all. So
Not bad. And it works well because I've ridden his boards forever. So I have a good basis of his equipment, and I think I pack a good testimony on telling, you know, describing the boards and talking to people about the boards.
yeah, so do you get to test ride all new boards he comes out with? Are you the first one to test
Yeah,
them?
yeah, yeah. I'm tight with them. So when he has stuff, either, I mean, he'll be working on new boards or see something or try something new a lot of times for his boards, and then he'll make a couple for some of the, either myself or some of the guys on the team before they're even, when he's just R&Ding them, and then kind of go from there depending on how people either like them or how he likes the way the boards work. So I'm kind of his test pilot too, which is rad because it keeps it interesting. It's just being able to try new boards and then communicate with him on what I liked or didn't like, and then kind of see it evolve from there is really rad.
Yeah. Because you're a bigger guy like me. I'm 6'2", 215. What size board do you normally ride in volume? Because when I go in and talk about boards with guys, they think, oh, because I'm a bigger guy, I need more volume. But paddling is never my issue. I'm in good shape.
Yeah.
So I'm always on the fence of trying to get I think my 6.0 is a 32 or 33 liter, and my 6.2 is like a 35 liter. But I'm always trying to gauge the liters and all that fun stuff. So
yeah, I'm 6 feet and like 185 pounds, and I ride around like 29 liters, but
yeah.
I'm not some people are numbers people, and they're so specific on what they ride, and they've got it really fine tuned.
Yeah.
I'm fine with like from 28 and a half to even 31 liters, depending on the board.
Yeah.
But it's just cool. It's another number to help you whittle down. There's so many options and so many different styles of boards and epoxies and polys and
Yeah.
technologies. It's just cool to have another number that you can kind of help find the board that's going to work best for you. I don't think it's the end all by any mean, but it's a cool spot to kind of gauge where you're at.
Yeah, the more I try to get into the boards, I drive myself nuts and weeks and thinking about it. And then when we got married, my wife just picked a board off the rack. It was a pod, Channel Islands pod. And I love that board. And I'm like, damn it, you just give me a board right off the rack and I love it. I'm sitting here trying to fine tune all the dimensions, all this and this and that. And I go crazy.
One sec.
Nuts. Yeah.
We lost sound here.
Oh, I got you. You hear me?
What happened?
Oh, you can hear me?
Okay, we're back. We're good.
All right.
It sure is nice doing this shit in person.
Right.
I wish we could. One day we're getting there.
Yeah. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. I know you got to go see the tax man. So, Nate, I really appreciate everything, giving me the time today and making that special effort when we lost each other. But I appreciate your time today, and I love talking to you. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I'll see you in Fight Strong. I need to freaking make that happen.
Yeah,
call me out. That's what I need. I need some peppering to freaking. I'll find the time to get back in there. I know Adam had surgery, so he's out for a little bit. But yeah, I like even the boxing aspect's really cool. I enjoy that too. So you can teach me. We'll swip swap. You can teach me a couple things, and I'll teach you a couple things out in the ocean.
Yeah, I'll hit you up on that because I'm definitely a better fighter than I am a surfer. So yeah, anytime, hit me up and we'll get together and we'll maybe hit some pad work before we go surf.
I love it. We'll make it happen. Thanks for having me.
All right, brother. Thanks, Nate. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Talk to you.